the recording here. So first thing that we do here, we went over Ana last time we had our session, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I would assume that we went over priority targets, right, to start off the game.
Yep.
We're looking at who we're going for. Who would you say would be the 3 main priority targets we're gonna go for here?
Oriza, Ball, and Zen. Maybe Zen before Ball.
Yeah. Okay. So Widowmaker's not really gonna be great at all. Um, I think that this isn't this is a comp
It's
where you're not really gonna have any good ones. So when you know you don't have any good targets to go for, it's gonna result a lot of the time down to who needs it the most. So now we're gonna
yeah,
rely mainly upon using it for the healing and damage reduction factor. So we're gonna mainly look to use it on our tanks here. So
yeah,
Orisa or Ball. That way we get the most healing out of it. We get the most damage reduction value out of it. And tanks a lot of the time have very consistent value. Right?
Ah,
Don't be afraid to launch sleep down long corridors, right? If you see that the snipers are peeking the same angle over and over and over again, or if you see that like all of them are walking after that choke point, you can just launch a sleep in there. It's very likely that a hit because there's so many people there.
yeah,
Yeah. Besides that, that was just kind of paying attention to Reinhardt, and that's about it there.
yeah. I heard him. I thought I got enough, like jumped enough, because I was like out of his hitbox, and
Mhm.
it felt like it snapped me back in.
Yeah, Ryan's charge it can be like that, where it's a vacuum. You just kind of try to get as far away from it as possible, or you can also try to sleep them too.
They're behind us, guys. I missed.
Oh, all right. So I think that we're doing very good with hitting just base primary fire shots. But I do think that one area that we're struggling in slightly is our awareness, and that's probably going to be with like 90% of the people in bronze, is that's what they struggle with. So
Mhm.
make sure that we're not always just. Oh, I'll wait until after you finish that off. Nice. I'll wait till after this fight to continue on that tangent. Right, so awareness. Awareness is just knowing what's going on around you, and that's going
Yeah,
to be able to get kind of upgraded. You're going to be able to improve on that if you're turning your camera, looking side to side, not just looking in a straight line all the times, because a lot of the times that you're kind of having, for example, you're Orisa who's just on your right side who's critical HP, and I see she's critical, but you're just not turning to where she's at. You're not aware that she's critical. Um,
yeah.
so you just make sure you're turning your camera, make sure you're looking at the corners of your screen. You're not just always staring at one thing and tunnel visioning on one thing. You kind of need to pay attention to what's going on around you. So, like for example, there, like McCree blocking your nade. That's an awareness thing
Yeah,
because if we see where McCree is, then we want to wait and kind of either walk to the side of him or wait until he gets out of the way till we throw our
yeah.
nade, right? So awareness will directly feed into decision making, and better awareness will mean that we'll be making better decisions.
They're on left, they're on left.
Nice. Oops. That went farther than I meant to throw it. Pig is purple. Not pig, hog. What?
Right, be careful about running down main, even if you're trying to come to heal people. You don't want to sacrifice your life to, go heal somebody who's out of position, unless you have like your whole team there. So in that
Yeah.
scenario, maybe wait till he peeks you,
Oops.
or maybe try to take a different angle, like going right side, rather than just running straight down main, which might be a super, difficult area to survive at. Okay, so we have Nano here. We're gonna be looking to use it this fight.
Yep.
We do have a McCree now for paying attention, so he might be probably want to be pressing tab right about now, seeing like does he have high noon? No, he doesn't.
66
So
percent.
yep, maybe he'll get that by the time the fight actually starts here. So we want to just be frequently pressing tab here so we can pay attention to that, because if he gets high noon, that's gonna be really good. If he doesn't get high noon, then it probably go for the tank. Okay, with your positioning, look to stay on the left side more, right? You have a lot more
Yeah.
survivability, you have access to spawn, you can get some good nades off from that angle. On the right side there, you're kind of out in the open. We'll review some more
Yeah.
positioning stuff, and I'll have a bunch of stuff we will go over after this game's done.
Okay.
But for kind of that fight, make sure you're looking to get off Nano 1 before you die, right? You never want to die with your ultimate,
Yeah.
if it's last fight like that. And 2, be looking to position in a spot that might be a little bit more safe, right? Because you're behind more cover, and it's not out in the open.
Yeah.
Right, so we're taking a look at our comp again, right? Because comps will swap between rounds, and
Yep.
we have a Reinhardt now. So Reinhardt's probably not gonna be like the best person making Nano. Then after that would be a high nooning McCree, and then after that might be like a coalescing
Yeah,
Moira.
Reinhardt or an ulting McCree.
Hmm? Yep. So it's always good to take a look at our team comp and the enemy team comp, right, as we're starting out the gate, because we're always going to change up our playstyle based off of the two.
Oh, they have Bastion. Watch out. We may need some pushes. They have Bastion. Please.
If you see that you have critical teammates, try to prioritize that. Right before we go for damage, before we go for probably a sleep, unless the sleep's going to keep them alive.
Send back on the bridge.
Oh. Make sure you're not running in on point, right, if they're all there. That's another kind of on top of the awareness point. And if we see that our teammates are on point and the enemy's all on point, we don't want to run into the enemy team.
He's purple. He's purple.
Probably Nano Ryan here, yep. Good job.
Mercy, mercy. Ryan's asleep.
Good ability usage here, and good ult timing as well.
Ah.
Good job shooting at Mercy, right? No one's critical. Good nade. Really good first point here. We didn't really make any mistakes. We landed a lot of our abilities and we had decent positioning. I'd probably say so far our mechanics are very, very clean with our regular primary fire. We'll go a little bit into that. I think there's just a little bit of inconsistencies in different areas, but for the most part, you have really good ability usage and and ultimate usage, right? And so I think a lot of this comes down to awareness, and there's also
Yeah.
some just decision-making things that suffer because of our lack of awareness. Okay. Right, so pay attention to where the majority of our team is, because if we need to be making sure we can see the majority of our team. If the majority of our team's on the right side of the map, we need to make sure that we have line of sight on them. So pay attention to where they're going, not just where we want to go.
Yeah, no, I was kind of torn there because everyone pushed different ways and they were like all way ahead of me.
Yep. It's the majority of your team, right? So if one McCree goes left side and 3 people go right side, or even if 2 people go right side, right? It's better to make it so that you're making it a 1 in 3 split rather than a 2 in 2 split, right?
Yeah.
You want to go with the side that has more people. And if you can't decide, go with the tanks.
Uh,
Okay, right now this is a lost fight, so we need to be looking to back out, right? That's a paying attention to kill feed thing. Did we talk about how to
Yeah,
read
no.
kill feed last time?
yeah.
Yep. So if you're watching
Vaguely.
vaguely, all right, well then we can go more into depth after this game, or after this game on this. But just keep in mind when they kill half your team, that's a time where we want to be backing out.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, we're not gonna do anything here.
Yep. Right now we want to be pushing in. We're up one, now we're down. You know, we're even. Now we're up another one, right? So we're up 1 player. That means we have an advantage here.
I heard him as I moved forward. I was like,
Yep.
oh, that's the Bastion.
Oh, again, that's another scenario where it's kind of like when we were in defense, is we essentially, because we were trying to go heal people, we pushed in and died. And then that when we
Yeah.
go in and die, that means that we can't do anything, right? Dying means that there's an absence of value. We get 0 value while we're dead. So we want to prioritize living over trying to go in and save Reinhardt. If we know that going on to point is probably going to kill us, right? Okay. Rather than on the ball, probably want to go on the Reinhardt, right, who's on the right side, who
Yeah.
we could have
I didn't.
saved
Could
it
I
with.
get any vision on him at that point?
Well, if you see if you're pushed forward where like the Moira's at, you do have line of sight on the right side. Right?
Okay.
And the other thing is we also want to be looking to move into his line of sight, right? So if we see that he's low or he's critical, we want to move like to the right side more so that we can see him, right?
We keep those together, don't die. We keep those together.
I could feel it coming too.
We keep those together. That's what I claim about dying.
The Ryan ran to a health pack instead of, getting his healer out.
Wait for the others. Just don't die. Wait for the others.
Right now we pay attention to your health bar, right? So we want to be nading ourselves so we can get our health back before the next fight starts. Never want to start
Yeah.
off a fight without health. So always pay attention to your like ammo, to your health, to your ult charge, right, in between fights, because you don't have a good like 20 seconds in between these fights. So you just gotta pay attention to those things. Right now we're trying to just build up nano, right? Whenever we're in, oh, unfortunate. Whenever we're
I
like
think that's still
97
a
to an
win.
ult, gotta look
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I gotta get that'll charge.
Yep, just gotta think about how we're gonna use it.
Hey.
Oh, nice. Shit.
Oh. It's always it's great that you're not losing games, but it always stinks when in coaching when I want to go over stuff outside the game, but I don't have the chance. But I guess while we're in this in between rounds here, we'll talk for a minute
Okay.
on essentially how to tell if you're winning or losing a fight. Right? You watch kill feed.
Mhm.
Kill feed will tell you if you're up or down players, right? It'll tell you who's
Yeah.
died. So when you see that you're up player, right, you get picks, you get kills. Let's say you get 1 or 2 kills, that is an advantage. You want to be more aggressive and push forward aggressively as a team. If you're
Mhm.
up 2 or 3 kills, that is a 1 fight. Okay. That means that you don't want to use your ultimate anymore. That means that you want to be pushing up super aggressively, right? You're up 2 or 3 people. You want to get super aggressive, take the point, get stagger kills to get the enemy team. Now, this also goes the exact opposite way. If you're down 1 to 2 players, that is a disadvantage, but you didn't lose yet. If you're down 2 to 3 players, that is when you've pretty much lost the fight. Okay.
Mhm.
That means that you don't want to use your ultimate, right? Because if you've won the fight, you don't want to use your ult. If you lost the fight, you don't want to use your ult. And
Yeah.
then that also means that you want to look to die or get out, right? So there have been a few times even this game where we've like lost a fight and stayed in too long, where we've where we've gotten an advantage and we haven't gotten any more aggressive. So we just got to pay attention to that, and that's an awareness thing again, right? And then we can tell
Yeah.
how aggressive we should be. Make sure reloading every time you get the opportunity, right? That way you have it when you need it. Good sleep.
I could have saved him instead of damaging the Reaper, because Reaper would have died either way.
Okay. Keep in mind, we're prioritizing healing. Damaging only comes if healing is not needed, right? So
Yeah.
we want to be every time we get the opportunity, we should be looking around at our teammates to see do any of my teammates need healing, because a lot of times we're just kind of damaging a little too much here, right? Or at
Yeah, I
least we're
gotcha.
looking to.
I've been watching a little too much ML7.
Which ML7 again, right? Like even if he does land the like good shots, he times it to where he's going in between
In
when people
between
need healing,
healing.
right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
healing comes out as a priority, and then damage comes out as a secondary priority.
I gotcha. Ooh. The one I miss and it gets me killed.
You know, make sure to use your nade too, right? Any abilities that Like if we are watching our
Was it off
TL,
cooldown?
yep, it was off cooldown. Yep.
Ah.
If we're dying, we want to be thinking about mainly two things. Or 1 second, let me collapse this. Yep. When we're dying, we can learn off of our deaths by thinking, what did I do wrong, or like what was my mistake, or what could I have done better, right?
Mhm.
And we want to look for those mistakes and go, maybe was I out of position? Was I too far out in the open? Was I too far away from my team? Was I too close to
Mhm.
my team? Did I use my abilities wrong, right? Did I maybe use my abilities too early, or did I maybe not use them at all, right? So in that situation, if we are dying when we have nade available,
Mhm.
that means that we could have healed ourselves and damaged the Reaper and stayed alive longer, right? So that's the situation where we go, okay, snap, I should have used nade, so that was the mistake. The solution
Yeah.
is having used nade. So in the future, we want to make sure we're looking at our abilities and not panicking, and look to use our abilities when we know that we have a flanker on top of us.
Mhm. Yeah. No. I definitely can get too caught up in trying to kill the guy trying to flank and kill me and forget about my teams a little bit.
No. I mean, like that was a situation where that's a fine. He's on top of you. You need him, right? And then you needing you and him heals you and damages him, right? So you kill him faster and you get healed, so you stay alive longer, right?
Yeah, I was more talking about the first fight.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The at in the first.
So if we land sleeps, we don't necessarily need to be the one who follows up on it. We can be, but we just need to pay attention to where the rest of our team is. Make sure you're crossing with your tanks if you see that they're going somewhere, right? That way we're not lagging behind.
Yeah. They're purple.
Remember, watch your health, right? Much rather
Yep.
see
Give
the
me that.
nade go to your health if you're at 60 HP, because then that ups our survivability and we'll stay alive longer. So that's, again, right, it comes down to awareness. Make sure you're paying
Yeah.
attention to the corner of your screen. What's your health at? What's your ult charge at? What are your abilities at? What's your ammo at, right? What's happening in kill feed? What's happening on the time bank, right? There's a lot of different things to pay attention to. You can't just kind of stare forwards and be tunnel visioning.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. On top of that, we can tell when we're taking damage when we see shots hit us, when we hear shots hit us, when
Mm.
we'll see red marks on the corners of our screens when we take damage, right underneath our crosshair and on the corners of our screens when we take damage.
Reaper behind.
I will push. I will push.
All right.
Uh,
So, why don't you leave that game and I'm gonna stream for a little bit while we go over different things.
okay.
All right. So, did I show you the how to land long range nades tech?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'd like to see that you use that a little bit more often,
There you
especially
go.
like that can also be used at medium ranges, right? Just to line it up and make sure it's going to the right place. So even if we're doing it
Mhm.
from here, right, we can make sure we're lining that up just so we're getting it to go to the right place, right?
Mhm.
So don't forget about that tip.
Yeah.
Secondly, okay, we're gonna go over positioning real quick. We went over positioning last time. Yes, no,
Mhm. Yes, we
yeah.
did.
So just as a reminder, right? We don't want to be out in the open, right? Out in the open is bad. Out in the open means that we are leaving cover, right? We're passing out in the open, which means that we have no cover, right? Where there's an absence of cover. Whereas if we're over by cover, we're gonna be doing a lot better. Do you mind getting me the code to that last game, and then I can just show you two specific instances where you did kind of push forward to try to save people and you ended up dying?
Sure.
But we're not going to go over that instantly. No, we have a few other things to go over as well. Um, when it comes to your, let's see, your awareness, right? Just make sure paying attention to what's around you. You're not just staring in one direction. Paying attention to the corners of your screens, listen to your audio. That'll up your awareness by a lot. Um, I think so far, if I were to summarize everything, I think that you land a lot of abilities, and you land a lot of shots. There's not really too much to work on in that sense, but you do
Mhm.
struggle a lot when it comes to awareness and this and knowing what to do when, which
Yeah.
is the kind of the big area that you struggle with. So we'll work on that a little bit more. Um, Now, in relation to your shots, did we talk about last time when to use each different type of scope?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, well then that's something I'd like to see you work on more because I do notice that sometimes you're like right here and you're scoping people, right, or you're quick scoping people. Um
Mhm.
and you sometimes when you're back here, right, you're I see you trying to go for unscoped shots, right? So it's not super that's not happening all the time. It's not a massive problem, but it does
Mhm.
happen to where that's something you just need to get consistently down to get better at that.
Mhm.
Um, Now, besides that, I'd like to just I'm gonna bring up the replay real quick.
Mhm.
Where is it at? Lost the replay section.
Now entering the temple of ready for battle.
All right, so
Don't move.
no, that's not. Is that you? Your combustion?
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Combustion. Okay. So let's try to find the spot. So this first one was on second point here. I think it's exactly here.
Step right.
Okay. Actually, maybe it's next way. Okay. Yep. So look at where McCree's at. We see McCree's over there. He's gonna request healing in a second here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna decide to run it straight up main, right? So we see he's critical.
Yeah.
Two decisions here. First off, if we run straight down main, we know that we're gonna die, right? This is
Yeah.
the super far on the open. This is where everyone's shooting, and I can tell even before we do it, right? If we did this, we would die. Now in this situation, we don't want to feed, right, or we don't want to go forward and die because us dying is worse than McCree dying, right? If we die in this situation, Cree's still probably gonna die, and we're gonna die, right? So two people die, okay, and that's the first
Mhm.
thing. Second thing is I'd much rather see you try to find a different option, right? You never really want to ever suicide to try to save someone, right? So
Mhm.
in this scenario, if we see McCree's over here, we can go and try to drop to the right side to heal him if we really want to try to save him, or we can try to make him peek us, right? So we can tell him to try to get to the right side, right? Or we can do something like this where we peek through the cracks at him, right? Um, but we don't want to push forward here. So if we would just watch what we do end up we just run straight down main to try to get to him, and then what happens is they just whole hog us from behind, and they shoot at us. Something else I want you to pay attention to here, while we're in this can help with your awareness of knowing what's going on. Whenever it happens. Okay, so what I want you to do is when you see, so we can hear whole hogging us forwards, right? But the other indicators that we have of this is the fact that every single corner of our screen has turned red, right? You see the red spikes.
Yeah.
And then if you look right under your crosshair will give you an indicator of which direction it is coming from, right?
Mhm.
So because this is on the bottom of us, we know that we are taking damage from behind, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell. Well, first off, I've taken damage. I should look at my health. Second off, where are you taking damage from? So this can help you be more aware of flankers and where you're getting shot from. So this is something super important to pay attention to, so you know where you're getting shot from. Okay, so that's
Mhm.
the first instance, but we also do this again while pushing in on point at some point here. I don't know if this is the fight. This might not be the fight. Let's try skipping forward here.
Take your medicine.
No, alright.
That was where the Ryan left me to go,
Yeah.
get healing.
No, I don't think this is it. No, okay, this
it
is...
was before that last
Yeah,
one.
this is before this. Yeah. I
Mrs. Ma-
don't know when this was.
I will
Alright, it
take
might
you
have been this
to
one right here. Yep, okay, so
the pain
right
is
here,
coming.
Ryan goes super far in.
Feeling sleepy?
Okay, we see him. We land 2 big abilities on the other Reinhardt. Good. Okay, but we decide to
I
run straight
killed
on the
him.
point here, right?
Yeah.
No protection, out in the open. Bastion can from this position, right? And when we run on the point here, Bastion can see us. Reinhardt can see us, and all 3 of these people can see us. And then do they have anybody else alive? Nope, that's pretty much it, right? So their entire team can now shoot at us because we were running out in the open, not behind cover, no team support, right? Because we're trying to suicide to save Reinhardt, whereas Reinhardt is Moria, right? Moria just faded over to Reinhardt. Moria can do this because she has her fade available, right? So she's much better suited to this, and Reinhardt actually doesn't die, right? But we die because we're the ones who ran out in the open. So this is twice where a bad decision has led to a death, and let's say we cut out those 2 deaths in particular. That's 10 seconds of death time and around 5 to 10 seconds of walk back time, which means that off of those 2 deaths alone, we're saving roughly 40 seconds of time that we're alive, doing stuff, which is very, very incredibly important because that means that we're landing more abilities, we're getting more ult charge, we're getting more healing and damage in, right? So if we can look to cut out those deaths, then we're going to be able to greatly increase the amount of time that we're doing things in general.
Yeah, and I can definitely feel that. Like the games where I die less are the games I usually win.
Yep. And on top of that, right, if we're just to compare the difference between this side and this side, right, on this side, they can kind of very easily access us from the right side here. There's not much that we can see. I like it. It's really this side. The advantages of being on this side over being on this side is that over on this side we have these little rocks, right, which gives us high ground. We can see onto this left side super easily. We can see all of the choke here, so we can land nades super easily and sleeps if they're going left side or choke. Being on the right side means that we can't really do that as easily, right? We can't really see the left side as easily. We can't really see choke as easily. And on top of that, right, on this side, we can use these as cover as well to where no one but we can see anything on point, but nothing besides that can see us, right? From the side here, that we can't really do that as efficiently because it limits our line of sight a lot more to where we can't see this this pocket of choke. We can't see behind this little pillar here. And we can't, and that covers that honestly takes up a whole lot of space of point. Right, so it limits our line of sight. This gives us more angles for landing nades, and then also we have just easy access to spawn, which you do have that on this side too. But it's a lot easier to kind of keep you in spawn on this side. Most of the time, you'll see support's position over on this side
Okay.
of the map. So on top of that, when you're on Ana, right? I actually will. I want to go back into that, and we'll
Now
find that
entering
one
the
time when
territory
our
of
team is
Venice.
pushing in through main. They split up. Let's see. I think
Yeah,
it might
that
have
was
been the first. Was it the first on
it was-
after?
yeah, it was the first fight.
Oh, it was attack.
Yeah, that's from the first attack into B point.
Adapt. I excited again. I excited again. I've seen worse. You've
Okay,
got
what happens here?
Objective A captured. New defense
All right, so we see Mora go right side. Kree dies. We're down 1. Reinhardt's on the left. Okay, so right now we're thinking to ourselves. First off, we're looking behind us for no reason, right? Look at how we're limiting ourselves with our field of view because we're not turning correctly, right? So we see here that we have teammates going in, right? We can see through walls. We see Chunka and Baller on point, but we're limiting our field of view by looking in the wrong direction. Then we're looking at the ground, right? We're also looking to where we can only see 2 people, whereas like we should be making sure that we're paying attention to all our team here, right? So in this
Yeah.
scenario, we want to be either going left side with these 2, or we want to come down main to where we can maybe see anyone who's going point, right? So that, and then we can see Junkrat and Ball. I probably say it'd be best if we went with these 2 on our left. But here we end up not going.
I have your back.
Like what do we do? We lag behind. We aren't really going with them too much, and then we split down main, so we hesitate. Oh, I went back 20 seconds. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, and then we see Ball, and then our whole team right side now, right? So now we just can't access them. our whole team's in there. Is there anybody shooting at us currently?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody looking at us? Right. We can tell if Junkrat's not looking at us. We can just kind of scroll through them here. Okay. Wait. Is that our? That's our ball. Okay. No, that's their ball. Junkrat's not looking at us. Sigma's not looking at us. Right. Lucio's not looking at us. Mercy's not looking at us. And then I don't know if I can access the last person because I had that unbound. Reinhardt's not looking at us, right? So their whole team is not looking at us currently. So
Mhm.
this is where we get more aggressive, right? We have all our health. We have nano. We want to get aggressive and make sure we can see our team because we can like push
Yeah.
forward to here and be able to get off nano from here, get off nades from here, heal from here. But we're putting ourselves in a position to where we can't see anybody, right? We can only see one single person on our team right now, right? We
Mhm.
want to try to position ourselves on Ana to where we can see the majority of our teams at all times, right? Unless somebody's being is across the map, right? Like that doesn't count, right? Or if somebody was in here, right, and the rest of our team's over on the right side, right? We want to make it so that we can see most of our team at once, and just here we simply aren't doing that, right? And that means we can't get
Yeah.
nano off, we can't get abilities off, we can't heal our team at all when three people are critical, or two people are critical, and Reinhardt's about to get critical in a second.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Yeah, I could have gotten to where I can see that right.
Yep.
And
Yep. Okay. And then, yep, I think that's pretty much it. Position back up there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to go over before we hopped into another game. I guess just as a quick demonstration for you, because we did talk about that just very quickly, briefly, in the while you were queuing up for a game. Why is practice range not loading? Um,
because
Oh, there we
Blizzard
go.
is a small indie company. Well, I probably shouldn't say
Oh.
that.
Yep. So with Lucio here, with your wall riding, just you're not going to go left or press left or right ever, really. You're going to spam jump, and you're going to use your camera to look around. So if you see here, if I just press W and I lose my camera, I can change my direction of movement. So we're just going to do that to where we are pretty much just smoothly gliding around here.
Man,
Okay.
that's useful.
Yep, and keep in mind as well that on Lucio you can do kind of bunny hops on the ground, where if you just spam jump, you keep your momentum. Okay, to where you're still going instead of just just normal doing this, right? We can keep up our momentum to where we're kind of moving extra fast on our first jump there, or even I think we can do that for 2 jumps or so. So if we need to, we can touch the ground and keep up the momentum. Right, so that way we can have a lot more mobility on Lucio. So I think that's about it. Why don't you go ahead and get into a queue? I don't know if we're going to be able to finish a competitive game. Do you want to do competitive still, or do you want to maybe try quick play?
I'm down for Well, what do you think?
Well, what do we have? We have 13 minutes, right? Or when did we start? Yeah, we have 13 minutes. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to finish a comp, I don't think, unless it was a fast comp game. So, or at least it'd be cutting it close. So, because I
I'm down
think
for a quick play.
yeah, so I think a quick play might be better, just so that we're not having to end the session while you're in a game.
Though it's bronze quick play, so a lot of them play like monkeys and
Yeah.
not the good.
All right. Oh, I'm watching myself now.
You see it?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so since you're in quick play and not competitive now, I'm going to do some kind of, and since we've gone over a lot of the main points so far for the session, what we're going to do here is I'm going to kind of guide you as we play and basically tell you what to do, not at all times, but in specific scenarios, right? So I'll tell you when to get more aggressive, when to play more passive, when you should be looking to use your ultimates, your abilities, right? I'll remind you of things. That way you can kind of be thinking about, or kind of understanding when you should be thinking about what things, right?
Sounds good.
And if it becomes too distracting at all, or you would prefer to just play and me commentate in between fights or rounds or whatever, just let me know and I'll cut back on it.
Hmm.
Right, so right now we're paying attention to our tab. Junkrat's not good to Nano. Lucio's not good to Nano, unfortunately. But the other three people are very, very good to Nano. Okay, so it depends on who Echo transforms into, but Echo will probably whoever Echo transforms into will probably be who we want to Nano. As Echo transforming means that she's getting her ult even faster. Unless it's a bad person, right? We have to pay attention to who she's transforming, okay? So that's first priority. Second priority is Reinhardt. Then third priority is a full charge Zarya.
Yeah.
And are you aware of how to know if a Zarya is full charge?
I know it has to do with her glowing.
Oh, you just started botting out, but yes, you said it has to do with her glowing. You try talking again?
Yeah, sorry, my phone started ringing,
All
and
right.
my phone is connected to my headset.
All right. Yeah, yes,
Um,
you'll notice it if she starts glowing. That's when she's high charge. Okay, right now we just want to be pushing out a spawn, right? Just get be up where our team's at so that we can push forward when they push forward. Okay, we have some critical people. Make sure we're paying attention to that, right? We don't want to be ahead of our teammates to where we can't see half of them.
yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, pay attention to what your Reinhardt's doing. They do have a Bastion, so people are going to melt very fast. We're going to try to make sure we're doing our best to land nades here, because if we can land nades, that puts pressure on them, and therefore takes pressure off of our team, and they do less damage.
Yeah, I don't know about that name, but
Okay, so what I'd like to see you do right now is, if you can wait for shields to break. You're down 2 people, so go right side. Oh, okay, everyone's dead. Back up, back up. Right, back all the way up. Okay, they have a big bunker. What I want you to do is just back all the way up, back all the way up. Turn right. No, turn around.
you're right.
Yep,
Okay.
go that. You want to go up those stairs? No, 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 those stairs, not those stairs.
Go up the other
Where
stairs.
yep, other stairs, and I want you to throw a nade in behind their shields. No, up this still. Yep. Wait for your team. Wait for your team. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yep. You see, you got 6 people with that, right? You opened it up. You got to kill. Don't focus the tanks. Focus the squishier targets, right? The ones who are easier to kill. But see how you opened it up, and you guys are actually winning this fight now.
Oh, that really got eaten by that sig.
Yep. Make sure you're looking to get you're paying attention to your team still, right? After you land that nade, you're now looking to get the nano off. You're looking to do other things. Watch your health bar. Oh, because then that happens.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you went on that flank, what I wanted you to do is look through the wall and see where your team's at, right? That way you can go when your team's back from spawn. Now your team happened to be in the right area, but it was unfortunate. Okay. Here we're looking to use nano once we come back. Yep, very good. We're even right now. If we see we're watching kill feed, we are 5-5. We're now up on you. We can be more aggressive. Right now we're looking for an anti-nade. Probably look to watch the shield.
Who blocked that?
The shield. There's an Orisa shield just sitting there. Okay, good sleep. Toss nade at the floor, right? Get that self-healing going. Yep, just make sure you're looking around to see what's going on around you. Yep, the more you're doing that, the more you'll have more survivability because you'll see where enemies are. You'll be able to heal more people because you see where your teammates are at. And you'll just be able to make better decisions and know what to do at what times. Right now, we are losing this fight. We want to wait for our team to group back up. Okay, now we have 4 people alive. This is nope, now he's dead. Okay. It's a 3v6 currently, so this is just where we're backing up. Yep, we can chuck a nade. We can just maybe look to get some spam damage, but that's about it. If these 2 are pushing up, we can kind of push slightly up with them. Okay, I want to... Oh, good nade. If we can, want to try to look for a sleep on the Bastion as well. We just landed in grab, so we're looking to get the nade in on that. Very good. Right, whenever we know that we have grav, we're gonna look to use nade on it, right? Because they're all grouped up.
Yeah, definitely.
Something I'd like to see you do is especially since you're on Ana, is make sure you press tab in between each fight, right? So after every single fight is done, press tab, and then that will let you know if if the enemy team comp has made any swaps, if your team has made any swaps, what ultimates your team has, because as Ana you combo with a lot of ultimates, right? And then it can also tell you who's alive and who's dead if you weren't paying attention previously.
That's a random ult.
Okay. Do we have somebody on cart? Okay, so we have 3 people. If BAP is
Yeah, we have.
if you have people sitting cart, go take high ground right now. You want to get to high ground so you can kind of use that as really good positioning.
I don't really. Oh, there
Yep,
it is. I was
yep.
like, I could never find it. I haven't quite got all the maps
You're good.
hammered down yet.
So from here, since we're at a long range, we're gonna use that nade tech that we've been talking about. So you can just line that up, chuck a nade in, yep, and then nice, yeah, you get that beautiful nade in there. We can also just, when we see people grouping up in the doorway, we can also launch sleeps in. Right? The same way that we launch nades at big groups of people, we can launch sleeps that way too, where we know it's probably gonna hit something. Okay, we got point. We want to be pushing forward now, right? You see, that way we can stay within their line of sight. We're a little bit slow to push forward.
Yeah.
Watch your health bar as well, right? There's so many different things we have to pay attention to, and you're not. It's just something you gotta get used to when we're thinking about the game, right? Okay, Reinhardt's back. Probably gonna look to nano Reinhardt here.
Yep.
Yep. Look for a nade as well, right, to follow that up. Good nade. Okay, probably look to launch a sleep down the corridor. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was less so. The last one you probably could have gotten out of, but this one, just kind of happened to be in the right place, and you didn't have any nade or anything to get you out of it.
Yeah.
About 75% of deaths you'll be able to learn something from, but
Oops,
then
I should have used a aim for that.
oh, you're good. But then some of the other 25 will just be deaths that you can't really affect at all. Okay, we got 2 picks. We want to be playing aggro now. Okay. That means that we can look for more aggressive nades, sleeps. We just want to, yep. Very good. Remember, you're not scoping in when they're an inch from you, and when somebody's
Yeah.
low, look to melee, right? Because melee is a very consistent source of damage. Hey.
Yeah, I tend to try and aim in, just especially like on a small target, because hit scan is much easier to hit on the small targets.
Yeah, well, when you're right next to somebody, like we went over last time with all the benefits and like negatives and
Yeah.
whatever, it means that you have more visibility, you have higher movement speed, and then on top of that, you'll have a higher fire rate if you're not quick scoping. And unscoped projectiles aren't too difficult to land when you're right next to somebody.
Mm.
Right. So we have 3 minutes left. I don't think we're gonna be able to get a whole other game in here, but why don't we just I'll screen share real quick, and we'll maybe try to just wrap up some stuff and see if there's any other tech stuff to go over.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
Right. So here, you're watching the stream, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
like unscoped shots aren't too difficult to land if they're like right next to us, right? Because we can just look at them the same way that we do a projectile shot, because there's really no distance for the projectile to travel. It doesn't matter that it's a projectile, so we're just gonna aim it like it's a hit scan shot when they're an inch from us, right?
Yeah.
You
Um,
disappoint me.
Now, besides that, on that last point, don't sit on cart, right, if you're about to cap, because where's the one place that when you're about to cap the point, right, you're about to win the game, where's the one place they all have to go?
To the point.
Right, so that means that the most dangerous place for you to be is also the point, because that's where every single enemy is going to be, right? So what we can do instead is sit a little bit further away from point and just look to heal, launch a nades, add some damage in, right, from the back, rather than just sitting straight on point. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, besides that, I guess as a overall wrap up of the, or kind of what are the main points? Don't think that you need to work an insane amount on your nade usage or your sleep usage or your just regular primary firing. Though they do have the respective things that we've talked about, right? With knowing what scope to use, with how to just tossing in sleeps and crowded crowds of people, and using the nade tech more. But I'd probably say the biggest thing is awareness. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and then on top of that, game sense, because awareness will feed into your game sense, and you'll be able to make better decisions if you know what's going on around you.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I'd probably say third thing would be aggression, which again, awareness will affect aggression, right? If you're paying attention to your kill feed, then you'll know when to be aggressive, when not, when to be passive, right? So, just gotta pay attention to what's going on around you, and that's really gonna be the biggest thing. I probably say awareness is the biggest thing that any bronze player is gonna struggle with. They just don't have a clue what's going on around them. And that's gonna really mean the difference between climbing and staying in place is paying attention to what's happening.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna end the recording here.